Queen here, Life After Money. As you can see, I've got the rubbish chair again because her ladyship has got the best chair. What are you doing, Maisie? Maisie's pinched my chair again. Anyway, it's coffee time, and I thought you might like to join me in this, and we can have a little chat. Well, I'll do the chatting. It's 12:30 p.m. and my second coffee of the day. I never have more than 2 coffees. 2 is enough. So, what's the subject? Well, I've been thinking about quite a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs if they haven't already. I think it's predicted that the unemployment rate is going to shoot up to about 4 million, which is, to be honest, it's disastrous. It's disastrous for businesses, it's disastrous for people that have got commitments, and they're going to really struggle to make ends meet. So I thought I would go over some of the, well, I wouldn't say ways of saving money, but because really money saving is all about changing your mindset. There's lots of small things you can do to save money, but really as a starting point you really need to think about how you've lived your life up to now, how you think it might progress, how you expect to be in, where you expect to be in, like, I don't know, a year's time or 5 years time. So there is really a lot to think about. Some people are going to be absolutely skint, and they're going to be worrying, and they're going to be frightened, which is understandable because, you know, they've taken on commitments, they've got mortgages and they've got rent to pay. So what happens next when they can no longer afford anything? But I would say all is not completely lost, because there's always a way round it. Now, I was skint. The last sort of 6 months of my working life, when I was recovering from an operation, and I couldn't go to work, and my bank balance dropped to almost zero. I'd got £200 left in the bank when I came to retirement age at 60. But it was really strange that I wasn't panicking, because I look on every day as a challenge, and a challenge to survive. And if I can survive a day at a time, then I know that I'm going to be able to survive a week at a time and a month at a time. So really it's about taking steps every day, which then eventually gets you back to a good place. I'm in a good place now, but it's only because I monitored my spending, my income and outgoings. I monitored it religiously during the last 6 months of my 50s, but then my pension kicked in. But it, you know, it was a relief when the pension kicked in, to be honest. But I was just determined that I was going to manage, and it's all about educating your mind, and not feeling overwhelmed. That's easy for me to say, because people who are in dire straits will feel overwhelmed. They will feel that there is no way out. They will feel totally desperate about what can they do next. But there is a way out. Right, so I've got some notes here. I'll try not to waffle. I usually do. But you've got to think about and now this is aimed mainly at people who are going to lose their jobs or who have lost their jobs. I mean, there will be people watching this video that are already well on the way to recovery and a better life. But there are also people that are just coming to this. So this is really who I'm speaking to. So you've got to start thinking of your finances as a business. You've got to check on how much money you will have coming in, and you will need to try and claim for like every benefit that you can to see if you're eligible for that benefit. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Not a very nice thing to do, I know, but when you haven't got a job, like I didn't have a job, I lost my job while I was on sick leave, but I had to go to the job centre and I had to beg, ask for a few quid here and there just to see me through. It's something you have to do. I'm not sure how the system works now. It's probably all online, but anyway, not nice to have to do that, but if you need to do that, you must do that. So you need to know exactly what money you've got coming in, and then you can start working out how much money you can pay for the different things that you need to pay for. And that's where the working out the difference between needs and wants come in. Now you might think you need a lot of things, but actually you don't. So you need to keep a roof over your head. You need to eat, of course. If you have pets like I have, I need to pay for those pets. Now I heard people say give up your pets, but you know, in my opinion, pets are family. You know, you don't turf them out, you look after them. So pets a priority, and sort out your priorities. So roof, food, priorities. You've got your utility bills coming in. Now you can save on utilities because you can cut down on the usage. You can switch things off. You can not put the heating on. So you need to look at that part of it. That can you manage with less? Can you put more clothes on rather than putting the heating on? I do often. I will sit here sometimes with a dressing gown on over the top of my clothes. And I still do it now, even though I don't need to, because I don't think sitting around in a centrally heated house with the temperature far too hot is no good for your health at all. So anyway, cut down on your gas, your electric and your water, and try and get on a water meter if you can. Check the tariffs that you're on with the energy companies, and try and find a better one. But so you've got to pay for those things, unless you want to go and live in a tent somewhere. You need to keep a spending diary so that you record every penny you spend, and I mean every penny, because you will find that money will just disappear, and you know, a couple of quid here, a couple of quid there, and you won't know where it's gone. It will just float away, and at the end of the week or the month you will be in the red. So keep a diary, just a notebook. Write in the date. Every time you come back into the house, write down what you've spent, what you spent it on. Now, and also check your statements for your credit cards, record all that, keep track of it. Some people will do that on a computer, but I'm a bit old-fashioned. I will write it down. Pen and paper is my friend. I don't do internet banking, so there's nothing on my computer about my finances. but some people find that an easier way to do it. Do whatever you feel is the best way for you, but you must check on a regular basis the bank balance and how much you've got available or not available. I'll take a sip of coffee. Yeah, so I've got down, cut out unnecessary spending. How do you know what is unnecessary? Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Well, it's anything that you don't actually need. As I said, you need food. You can cut down on that by shopping in the right places and checking prices all the time. And I'm at the situation now where, because I don't wander around the town shopping, I go to Aldi at 8:30 at night and I get my shopping from there. It's good prices. I've had to give up on the yellow sticker thing because I just want to go to one place and go in and out quickly. But how you do it is up to you. I will always say you make your own choices. So cut out unnecessary spending. Well, I say unnecessary spending is you buy something, and what happens if you didn't buy it? You won't die, right? You don't have to have it. You spend your money on what keeps you alive, right? So you've got to eat. You've got to feel comfortable and with your heating. So that's my simple way, really, of defining. You know, if you don't have it, you won't die. So go without. I mean, I don't have a television. I haven't died because of that. You know, I've not paid the license fee for years because I don't want a television set. It's not part of my life and it's my choice. So everything you decide to do is got to be your own choice. Like unnecessary spending is buying new. That's unnecessary if you can get it for second hand. I love second hand. People give me things as well, so make it known to your friends, your family. You're quite happy to accept any freebies that they want to offload, but then I get clothes given to me. Well, that's fantastic, thank you very much. Last week I was given some clothes, and I haven't bought any from a shop for I think a couple of years now. Yeah, so don't buy new if you can get second hand. All my furniture in here is virtually second hand. So if you're in the habit of going out a lot, you will find this difficult to cut down. But if you don't go to the pub, it won't kill you. If you don't have a takeaway, it won't kill you. And if you don't eat out, it won't kill you. Make sure that you buy really nice, good, nutritious food from the supermarket or wherever, and cook it in your own kitchen. I don't eat out because I make lovely food in my kitchen. And I look forward to every meal because I vary it. Yeah, you've got to look at what do you normally do on a day-to-day basis or week-by-week basis, and always look for a cheaper alternative. Like people go to the hairdressers. Well, I don't go to the hairdressers. I cut my own. I trimmed it yesterday. I got a mirror outside and lifted it and trimmed it, lifted it and trimmed it, lift and trim, and that's all I do. I might invest in a colour about once, about twice a year maybe, because I don't like the colour of my own brown hair. So I've gone a bit red for a change, because that sort of gives me a boost, because it makes me happy that I've done a little bit to change my appearance. But you might think, oh, I can't cut my own hair. How do you know? Have you tried? Well, try. Or another family member could do it for you. Try it. Now, my back might not be that brilliant, but I don't care, because I can't see it. The only time I can see it is when I've got two mirrors, back and front, and I'm watching as I'm cutting. But I can't see it. So front's okay, sides are okay. That's fine with me. Yes, go for walks instead of spending money on visiting places that have an entrance fee. You know, it's a bit more difficult now. I mean, there's still places you can go to for free, but then you have to book in advance. But if you think about what entertainment, you need entertainment, because if you're not working, you've got a lot of time to fill. So you need entertainment, you need hobbies. So look for things to do which is not going to cost anything. I mean, make a picnic, make a pack up, go for a walk. It might seem pretty boring, but to walk in your own area. But I've found some lovely walks by just exploring around me. It's amazing how many people don't explore their local area. I should probably go out in about an hour's time, and I should go on a walk across fields. Have been that way before, but just being out in the countryside, in nature, all alone as well, is very uplifting. I think it puts me in a very good mood. It calms me down. You know, I manage to blot out everything else that's going on, all the madness in the world. I blot it all out, and I go and have a look at the trees and the fields and listen to the birds, and it's just wonderful. Now I think single people probably fare better with this, excuse me, frugal money saving thing, because if you've got a partner, there are things you might clash over. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. There are things you might clash over. You might not both have the same ideas, but really, if there is two of you or more, you need to get everybody on board. You need to be singing from the same song sheet. There's no good one half wants to go on buy everything, and if the other half is wanting to put money away for like emergencies, it won't work. It won't work. There will be clashes. I mean, if you're in that situation, you each then have to have like a small spending allowance, just a small one, not loads of money, because you haven't got loads of money. So a spending allowance. I wouldn't say skint yourselves completely, but because we all need a little treat now and again, but treats have to be affordable, and they have to be not every day, just occasionally, an occasional treat. I mean, you might think you deserve like a chocolate bar every day. Well, if you get to that stage, it's not a treat. And chocolate is a killer anyway, so you don't want to be eating that every day. It needs to be small portions over a longer period of time, that's all. So yeah, that's another thing, defining treats. There are a lot of things that you might call treats that if you can't afford them, you can't have them, and that's it. End of story. You can't have them. My treat is my car, because I save up for that. I save up over a period of about 3 years. When I've changed my car, I start saving for the next one. So to be able to get in that car and go somewhere is my treat, because I've saved up for it. And that is the key: save up for your treats. If you wanted a new anything really, and if it has to be new, save up for it. Don't put it on the card. Just don't. Don't put it on the credit card. Oh, and that's another thing. Oh God, I'm darting about here. Only spend money that you've actually got. That's your money, that is in your account. Don't spend on a credit card. If you're thinking of doing that, think about, do I really need this? Will I die if I don't have it? And probably you won't. So put that on hold. You might have a project, you might want to do something in your house, or any project really. But if you can't afford it, if you haven't got the money, then you have to put it on hold, and that's it. I mean, you might think that it's okay for me. Look at me, I'm in a good position now. Well, if you could see me when I was about 27 and had my first house, I was skint. I was earning sort of decent money. It was when I became a lorry driver, and I put everything into that first house, small terraced house. It needed a lot of work into it. It was like a wreck, and every penny, like for a few years after that, went into that house, went into getting it shipshape. But I didn't borrow to do that. I saved up to do that. And of course, a few years later, I wanted to move up one. So again, I found a slightly bigger house, a semi-detached house, and all the proceedings from the small terraced house went into the new house, and again I skinted myself for that. So it's a long journey, and now I'm in my third house, and I skinted myself for this as well. So 3 times in my life I've had absolutely no money. But I wouldn't say that I have ever felt deprived, because I knew that I was working towards something in the long term. I knew that it would come right eventually. So you need to make decisions about what your long-term goal is. Long-term might seem a long way ahead. I never thought I would reach to 71 and be where I am now. And I'm really grateful that I took note of what my mum told me. She taught me everything that I know, and I learnt from her. So, and is any young people today that's struggling, take note of what your mother says, your grandmother says, always, because they are the ones that have the experience. They are the ones that have gone through it. They might not be quite savvy with the electronic side of things, because I know a little bit about it, but I'm not that well educated where I don't even have a smartphone. I don't want one of those. I've been called names, called old-fashioned. You want to get into the 21st century, blah, 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 blah. Well, I think I've done pretty well to get where I am without all these gadgets. So, any young people looking for help, looking for advice, look to the older people. Look to your mothers, your fathers, your grandmothers, your grandfathers. Ask them how they did it, because you know they're a mine of information. Yeah, look on the internet as well, of course. That's a good way to find out things. Now, I'm not sure what time I started this. I think I ought to wrap it up. I think I've covered most things. Cheers. It's, you know, it's desperate times for some people, and I do feel for young ones today. I mean, I've got 2 nephews, and they have children, and I see the struggles that they have, making ends meet, and they're trying to give their children a good life. I mean, everybody wants to give their children a good start in life. Now, the best thing anybody can do is sit down with your children and educate them on money. You know, education is okay, you know, they need to learn everything, but money should be an important topic to speak about. Sit down at the table with the children, let them know what things cost, how much things cost. My mum used to show me her empty purse if I asked for something, you know, something small, you know. She would say, well, I haven't got any money, and she would show me the empty purse. You need to do that for your children. They might be grumpy, they might complain, you know, but I'm afraid that is tough love, you know, it's tough. They've got to learn. So they might stomp around, they might have a hissy fit, you know, oh, it's not fair, you know, but the best thing you can do is say to your children or your young people, we can only spend the money that we have. Nobody's going to give it us free. We have to earn money, right? Is that clear? I can't think of another way to say that. Right, thank you very much for watching, for listening, and well, I just wish you all the luck in the world, I really do. Bye for now.